and Techie Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Well, all done. Then in Ahmedabad, the game that we'll reflect on in a little while from now is the Titans managed their second home win and just brought the Sunrisers down after their high against the Mumbai Indians. And we now build up to match number 13. Will number 13 be lucky for the Delhi Capitals as they shift to an assigned home venue for the first part of the tournament at Visakhapatnam? They welcome the Super Kings, who've won 2 out of 2. This is Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Hello, gentlemen. I missed you this afternoon.
How was the sleeping?
You think I was asleep? I watch every ball of everything.
Of everything.
What happened in the first game? I will ask you in a little while from now. But CSK is where we build up. Slightly specific situation to throw back to all of you when you lost the opening 2 games, as the Capitals have, and what that did going into the third game, as it turns out, against a team that has won 2, and CSK have an intimidation of their own. Anyone reflect on slow starts or poor starts to the season?
Oh, I'm sure over the years I've had both good starts and bad starts. But you know, the one thing when you do have a bad or a poor start, losing a couple of games, you know, there's a couple of important factors. There's one, that you control the noise that's happening around the franchise and outside the franchise, you know, through the media and what have you. And secondly, it's not a bad thing for Delhi Capitals to be playing at a different venue, because it's nearly like a clean slate, and you know, everyone can sort of look at it with a completely different approach. If it's Groundhog Day and you're back at the same venue you lost your last game, it nearly feels like you're starting on the back foot before the game. So I think this is not a bad thing for DC.
Okay. As it turns out, it's an opposition they may not have chosen if they went down in their first 2. You have to play the Super Kings at some point. But as we talk about the highest win percentage for one team against the other in the history of the IPL, with at least 20 matches in the top 6, features Chennai's impressive record against the Delhi franchise, both as Daredevils and Capitals, with 19 wins and 10 losses and a win percentage of 65.5. Sure, you were part of those Mumbai games against Kolkata where you just had to turn up.
Turn up most of the time, yeah. That was good fun, real good fun.
Yep.
But, I mean, what a record, isn't it? 19 out of 10 games. And as Tom alluded to, it's probably not the team that you want to run into when you've lost 2 on the bounce. And I guess the point for Delhi is that the concerning point for them is neither of those games have they looked convincing. They've struggled. Key players have struggled. Nokia coming back looked a little bit rusty towards the end the other day. Hopefully that he comes off a bit better tonight. But positive thing is that their batsmen are stroke players, and this wicket here in Vizag is a very, very good wicket. Fast outfield, small ground, so should lend to the flow of their batsmen to put a score on the board.
How soon before the dressing room, the owners, all the things that tend to happen when a franchise starts losing, and this is a Delhi team that started poorly last time too, how soon before things just start getting messy? Still early days? Or?
It's still early days. I don't think it should get messy anytime soon. Maybe if they continue like this after the 4th, 5th game, then it starts getting really tight. The main thing is Delhi would not want to play CSK after losing 2, because CSK play spin really well. Delhi's strong point is their spin bowlers, so they lose their advantage there straight away. But it's a game of cricket. Anything can happen any day. So let's see how it goes.
I just got to put a different spin on that. And that is...
Like what you did there. Different spin.
Well, you don't know where I'm going with it. But anyway, I'm going to put a different spin on that. And that is, when you're playing a side that they're expected to beat you because you're in the back seat of the table, it's nearly to your advantage. If Delhi were coming up after losing 2 with a team that have maybe just won 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3,
right,
it's a different pressure. In a way, there's no pressure on them. It's a free hit for them tonight, in that I think most people, except for me, will be picking CSK to win tonight. So that's where I think they could have a psychological advantage.
Yep.
And mental sort of positive, you know, go into it with a mental
And vice versa,
spin
right?
on it.
Vice versa, right? From the Chennai point of view, 2-0, look convincing.
Yeah.
Jadeja and MS Dhoni haven't been exposed so far. So if they take them lightly and they get exposed early, then you're right. Delhi could well be in the run.
I am also quite curious that on both occasions today, the captain winning the toss has decided to have a bat first, which continues a bit of a trend that started yesterday with Lucknow. Otherwise, we saw quite expectedly teams like to chase in the IPL, but small ground and high scoring and Pant and co deciding to bat first. Does that surprise you in any way, Varun?
It might be a slow wicket. Might. I mean, we haven't seen the wicket at all. We haven't got the opportunity because we're sitting with ourselves here, and yeah. So
You're supposed to be able to give me wisdom.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got the wisdom for you.
You've got
I
wisdom.
made a few calls last match. I'm not sure about this one. I don't want to push my guessing limits, but the thing is that if it's slow, it's going to suit Chennai and Delhi. So let's see how it goes, because it's one of those matches where, like Tom said, Delhi doesn't have much pressure on them. Chennai is going to play consistent cricket, but it's too early in the tournament, and I don't even think Delhi's got their combination right. I would want to see if Kumar Kushagra is playing today.
Okay, we'll find out quickly. But if you want to hold on to that thought, the wisdom is
I'll give you the
waiting to
wisdom.
burst.
Yeah, I'll give you the wisdom.
Yeah,
I'll give you
yeah.
the wisdom.
Go.
This is I saw an interview with Ricky Ponting talking about start of tournaments and start of big tournaments, and he believes that batters take longer to find their rhythm in tournaments than bowlers do. So his theory is that if your bowlers are more likely to defend a total at the start of the tournament because the batters aren't in rhythm. But as the tournament goes on, when batters get into form and they get used to the environment, they get used to the conditions, then it's easier to chase. So his philosophy from that interview that I saw is to bowl second first half of the tournament and then to bat second the second half of the tournament.
That has to be his theory with the team he has, because they've not gotten off to a good start. So he's going to hope that they fire towards the end.
He's going to put, I'll use the word again, a spin on anything.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Delhi are without their main spinner today. Kuldeep Yadav has a niggle.
Oh,
so
no.
he doesn't play. So there's another spin that's been put on it by the Capitals, and Prithvi Shaw plays.
That's good news.
So Prithvi Shaw returns to the playing 11, as does Ishant Sharma. We're worried about how serious that injury in the opening game would have been for Ishant against Punjab, but he missed only the one game. Let's get a reaction on Prithvi. Tom.
I'm thrilled because I think he's in their best 11. I was surprised that he was left out at the beginning of the tournament. So, it's great to see him back because we all know what he's capable of doing. And we also know that, he's had an interesting journey over the last 3 years or so since he, burst onto the scene. So hopefully, this is the beginning of a new chapter for him.
It's Ricky Bowie who's also been left out.
Yeah.
He was also, I think, struggling to find a role in that team.
Yeah, I think this is really good because I was saying after last game, I really think Mitch Marsh should slot down the order, play a more finishers role and strengthen their middle order, which has been found lacking over the past couple of seasons. Prithvi Shaw is a high quality batsman. I really hope he does well. I'm a fan of the way he bats. He is their ideal opener along with Warner. Great lefty righty combination, and Marsh slots down, which is going to be good for them.
Okay, well, they will need their batting to fire. We've not quite seen the best of the Capitals, but with the return of Prithvi Shaw, you still think that if Delhi's left-handers have a good day, which they tend to against Ravindra Jadeja, it could very well be the difference in giving them the score that they need. Not everyone can boast of a good record in the same team. You have 3 against Jadeja in the IPL, is much improved bowler, but David Warner strikes at 174 against him, Pant at 160, Akshar Patel against, well, you could say his brother from the same club, at 174 too. Only Pant has been dismissed twice to Jadeja. Those numbers still relevant today though, because sometimes Jadeja doesn't even bowl his full complement, the impact players allowed for it.
Yeah, might not tonight if Delhi go with the theory that they've taken in the past against Chennai and elevating Akshar Patel up the order. So that's an interesting one when we look at our impact players. Akshar Patel could be a factor today against Chennai. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Only you are looking at it. You picked Harpreet Brar
It's
yesterday.
got into his head, hasn't it? It's totally got into his
But
head.
if he picked
I'm
Harpreet
enjoying
Brar,
myself.
he
It's good
picked
fun.
Brar and Brar
It's good
didn't bowl,
fun.
so he's still scarred as a result of that. Sorry, Varun, please bring some.
No, the thing is, if you see Jadeja's numbers pre-last year to lefties, and last year it has changed significantly. He's actually been going at better economies, getting more wickets of lefties. So it's a different story now. Jadeja's obviously made adjustments to bowling to lefties. I feel he's consistently operating at a way higher speed than he was previously. I mean, he was always very quick through the air, but he would toss the odd ball up. I don't think he's giving anybody anything when it comes to flighting the ball anymore. So these numbers don't hold good at this point.
Really, do you have nothing to add?
No, it's
Nothing
all
to add?
covered
All
off.
covered.
Yeah,
Excellent.
absolutely.
We can move forward then. And just as confirmed, the Super Kings will be bowling first with an unchanged side. So no surprise, Super Kings just do Super Kings things, and they continue in the same path that many previous teams have, even though there are some changes. One of those changes significantly this season that's worked wonders is Rachin Ravindran. We'll see him a little later today, and now we've already reached that part of the season where teams must plan for Rachin Ravindran. It's only 2 games. I'm sure he's taking up a fair part of the opposition's tactics going into a game, and that's part of our tactics board. Now, we put Mitch McClenaghan and Varun Aaron to the test here and really made them work hard, and Tom Moody can give his verdict as well, as these 2 rookie coaches have presented a plan on how to bowl to Rachin Ravindran. I think we'll start early on with his numbers in the power play. He's been so good, and how a team must set up against Rachin Ravindran, who strikes at 233 this season, Varun, against him in the power play.
So first of all, Ishant Sharma playing is great news for the bowling side, because he is the perfect matchup for Rachin Ravindra, and also the plan I had made, because he's one of those typical bowlers who get the ball to move away from the left-hander, not just over the wicket, but he can also do it when he comes round the wicket, which is ideal for Rachin. The key is the length. He can't be short. Rachin punishes anything that's short. I would say the perfect ball to Rachin early doors is ball moving away, pitching on off, hitting top of 4th, top of 5th, with a slip in place, flyingish gully.
There you go. That's what you've planned. That's Varun Aaron's tactics. Okay, so take us through that again. You're strong on the leg side, therefore angle it across the offside.
Absolutely. That's what Ishant does naturally, which is the best part. He doesn't have to manufacture anything. So you have a slip, a flying gully instead of a third man. You have a deep point. You have your cover, extra cover. There's an extra fielder there, I think. There is, right?
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6,
you've got-
7,
You've got
8,
an
9,
extra
10,
fielder, man.
11.
That's
really
not my
take
fault.
your
You've got your
players.
Okay, so who do you want? What do you want?
You've got your
my fault.
super sub out there.
What's the fielder you want
I picked
moved?
that.
No, bring it back. That's all right.
No mid-wicket there.
No mid-wicket. Mid-wicket goes to?
Mid-wicket, there's no mid-wicket.
Goes to the bench.
goes
Goes to the bench.
To the bench. There's too many fielders out there.
Mid-wicket goes to the bench.
11 and plus the bowler 12. Yeah.
Okay.
Ishant's running in with a wide
That's a
run-up.
technical.
That's a
problem.
brilliant plan if you can get away with it.
Sneaky little 12th man.
Okay.
Hiding there.
So yeah, you won't have a mid-wicket. I think the
mid-wicket,
question
yes.
to focus on the right side of that graphic
Absolutely.
is why no third though?
Because if
You bowl that line.
yeah, because he's not somebody who looks to guide you down third man. He's more looking. He presses on the front foot. He's looking to like go.
Point
into your
illustrated
zone.
just there. Not a lot of runs, a percentage of runs scored.
Absolutely. So
That
if
is fair.
as a bowler, if you're making somebody who likes to come to you, like try to play cheeky shots, you're winning the battle because you're throwing him off his plan, number 1. And number 2, you've got 2 catchers there. All the best with doing that. If you are on the shorter side, you have a fielder at the back, and say Ishant Sharma doesn't get off to a good start, things are not working out, pull out the slip, get a mid-wicket in and attack the stumps.
Can I challenge you on one?
Yes.
Absolutely.
On that field you set there, with that removed to mid-wicket because you had one too many, I would, as a coach, say to you as Ishant Sharma, I'd say I'd much rather have short fine leg in at that mid-wicket position, because your line is what you've described, off stump, 4th off stump, going across there. And I'm more than happy for him to try that, ramp shot early on, which is not something that we've seen much of, him do. So you're getting him to play a shot that he's not comfortable to do, and you're stopping him getting a soft one in at mid-wicket if your line just gets a little bit straight. So that's what I'd suggest.
I would agree with that, but then again, that's a conversation we should have with that's a conversation the bowler should have. But
you're the bowler at the moment.
Yeah, if I was Ishant Sharma, I would still leave out the mid wicket, because Ishant Sharma, his kind of release is such that if he gets it right, it's never ever going to go to mid wicket. But sometimes he just doesn't get it right, and it just holds its line, where he might just get a flick on the leg side.
But short, fine leg.
Short, fine leg.
So you're feeling that's going to be a more of a high traffic position than the mid wicket.
I would say so. But
Okay.
it's a point to debate. I'm not disagreeing with you. It makes sense to me. Both points do.
If
But
you're going to only have the three guys, so say that's the plan, you're going to bowl outside off stump. I think the line is, if you're going to have that plan, it's fourth, fifth, moving to seventh. I think because you're bowling that line outside off stump, actually that square leg can actually come more towards mid wicket. Your short fine comes around if you get a fraction too straight, because it's a hot spot for Rachin Ravindra, is actually going through mid wicket. So if you're going outside the stumps, then it's got to be further in front.
Yeah.
The other option is that if you do have an in-swing bowler, which we've seen so far, everyone's bowled in-swing bowlers to Rachin Ravindra. They've all had just one guy out on the leg side, and you can bowl full to him early. Yes, he's strong on the leg side, but he's strong off the hip. Anything above the hip, he can whip away. And if you want to target the stumps, bring LB and Bold into play, or a little spoon out in front to mid on and mid off, you can start with a fine leg and deep square and go fuller. Once you want to go away from that plan, I do like the idea of having.
Are we still talking power play though?
This is power play.
Okay, so you don't mind nobody back on the offside then.
just one thing with Tom's
You
plan,
can go to that if you're going to. Two different theories. Like if you've got most in swingers, you can have those two. But I do like that because you want to look and hitting offside as well.
Right.
The one thing with Tom's plan is if I don't have a fine leg, then my square leg has to be a bit finer. And then if I'm bowling an outside off stump line and say he picks me up, he's not going to pick me up fine, he's going to pick me up more square.
In front of square.
Yeah, but I would say I don't want it squarer. I don't want it further around.
Okay, but that's,
I'm trusting your line.
Got it.
I'm backing you to bowl the right line. If you bowl too straight and it goes, in that position, fine. It's a bad ball. That's fine. Just put it down as a bad ball. I'd much rather set the field for good bowling for what you're setting out to do.
makes sense. Yeah.
Very good. So both sides heard. And if Rachin does manage to carry on his rich run of form and bat outside the power play, you still have to keep thinking for him. Dangerous player if he bats a decent length of the innings. So Mitch McClenaghan, if you are the Delhi Capitals, that's what you're doing outside the power play. Let's count the fielders.
Yeah, look,
It's correct. Yeah.
I think I've got it right. Look, outside the power play, I'm picking the way Rachin Ravindra's got off to starts. He's got off to. He's going to be on a fair amount, right? So you're trying to limit the damage and you're trying to stay away from his strengths. So you're going to try and bowl outside off stump, closer towards the wide line, getting hits to your deep backward points and your deep extra cover. And that's why my leg side field is a lot squarer. So I'm going to try to change the pace off. The reason I don't have mid-off back is because we do have this 2 slow ball bouncer rule. And if we can bowl slow ball bouncers out on the wide line for him to try and cut, then he's only going to get 1. If he does want to still take on his favoured leg side, because as the innings goes on for Rachin Ravindra and he wants to hit, he opens up his stance quite a lot, quite considerably. So if you're going short of a length outside off stump on the wide line, he wants to try pop you over mid-off. That's a very difficult shot for a right-hander going across. And then you've got the protection out on the leg side in front of square if he does want to still take it on and you get your line slightly wrong.
Can you poke any holes in that?
There weren't holes in the previous. I was just giving another suggestion.
Would you like to give another suggestion?
I think that's I think that's a good strategy to start with. The only thing is whether you discuss having that extra cover, which is the one that's in the 30-yard circle, having that a little bit squarer and bringing the cover point
The other way. Yep.
the other way. So you have your deep point and you have a straighter deep cover and you just move your extra cover in, particularly if you're taking pace off the ball, because it's more likely with pace off the ball it's going to go a little bit squarer than straighter.
Yep, and definitely, and with that option as well means you can bowl your wide Yorker as well. But at that point, you're really just trying to frustrate him into playing a shot and going across the line more often than not, because he's probably in on a few, and you want to keep him off strike as much as possible.
Choice of bowlers to attack him with Ishant returning, does that help Rishabh Pant a little more in terms of how he uses his bowlers today? There's Mukesh on the bench, who we'll see later when Delhi bowl perhaps.
For sure. Ishant, like I said, is the perfect matchup to, before making this plan, we didn't even know Ishant's going to play today. but he's the perfect matchup for that. Even Khalil Ahmed, if he gets the ball to shape away, Khalil sometimes doesn't get that swing. I hope he gets it today. To shape away, that's a great option. So yeah, Delhi has the armory to get Rachin Ravindra out, but the execution has to be spot on because he's a high quality batsman.
Okay. You would not.
I agree.
Khalil.
I agree. Yeah, I think Ishant, you bang on with that. I think he's a great matchup, and Khalil showed some really good signs last game.
Yeah.
We all know he's highly skilled, particularly with that new ball, so he'll be a threat.
There were a few kinks in his armour as well. I mean, the right armers got taken down, but they got taken down off the hip, and there was a few balls erring on the fuller side to Rachin Ravindra, off Alzari, off Siraj, off Umesh Yadav, that he comes across. His action is to really go leg side, and anything fuller, he can't correct the blade and get it back through straight with power early in his innings. And he actually skewed a few balls just out to like a short cover or just short of mid-off. So if you are on that fuller side on that line that you spoke about, there's definitely options to get him out early.
All right. Well, let's just confirm the teams one more time for you. Toss has taken place at what will be the first game at Visakhapatnam. 4 overseas players. Anrik Noke's second game along with Tristan Stubbs, and we might see Mitch Marsh now bat at 3 with Prithvi Shaw getting into the side and the playing 11 for the first time this season. Ishant Sharma returns, and you would expect Mukesh Kumar's in the 11. So that's interesting. As far as their options go, maybe Rafiq Salam is someone they've looked at to potentially come in as an impact sub. Sumit Kumar also finds himself on the bench. He's not quite had much to do. And that's the only likely one. Pravin Dubey is the leg spinner if you want to go that way. But
well, I guess it depends how the wicket plays. You've got a couple of options there, right? Rafiq Dar is a very good, skillful bowler. He's he's a younger version of the skills that Bhuvi's got in terms of being able to move the ball both ways. He's skiddy. His length is the top of the stumps, and he's got a surprisingly quick bouncer as well. So he's a real threat if he gets a chance today. Yeah,
picked up. He was at Mumbai for a while, wasn't he? Mumbai Indians, and served out a suspension and has now returned, eligible for selection, picked up by the Capitals. So we'll see if he is the likely impact sub. CSK unchanged. No surprises out there. So they will now be bowling first, and they continue to persist with the pair of Patirana and Mustafizur Rahman. So we don't see Mahesh Theekshana, and we expect Shivam Dubey a little later on. This is the pair then, Tom? No, without Theekshana, that Mustafizur and Patirana will play together now for at least a number of games?
Well, I think so, unless they come across the surface where spin is going to really play a major role. But they're two quality bowlers, and they provide such not only attacking options for CSK, but they're great closing bowlers. They can finish that death off.
Okay. Well, now that you've seen the teams, it is now time for Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan, Varun Aaron to get busy. Mitch's favourite part now. Enter the impact zone for game 2. You must give us some time while we update what happened in the afternoon game.
Yeah,
it wasn't great for me.
Yeah, but now I must find a way to decide who wants to pick first. How do you guys go in the afternoon?
Mitch went first because he was cribbing a lot.
First,
I'll tell you what.
You go first again, mate.
I'll give it to Mood.
Your other option is I play a quiz and then whoever wins that.
Yeah,
what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do that.
You want me to play the quiz?
Yes,
let's go.
Yes.
Okay. So a little bit of revisiting of some IPL history, and I will give you hints and prompts. Don't worry, because the league returns to Visakhapatnam after quite a while. Though the last time we saw an IPL game here, it was also coincidentally Delhi versus Chennai. So we go back to a playoff game actually in 2019. Tom Moody is already excited by the year. You remember it? No?
No, not at all. I've got a terrible memory.
Okay, let's revisit that scorecard. You need to fill in the blanks. Now here we have Delhi batting, and you saw Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan, who used to play for Delhi at the time. They had a good season, 19 and 20. They made the final as well the following year, playoff in 19. Now, who batted for them and was their captain? It came very quickly from Tom Moody. Shreyas Iyer is the right answer. And what about after that? 38 of 25. Tom's on fire. Iyer and the man who succeeded him at Delhi, Rishabh Pant. Very good from Tom Moody. See, after saying he has a terrible memory.
That's a pretty easy one, though. Thank you.
But Raunak,
It makes them feel
we
worse.
had some order in our last quiz.
What was
We
that?
were asked to go one by one.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Varun?
I was like waiting. I was like, okay, we're going to go one by one.
Okay,
but just,
Varun,
like,
this is your
I was
question.
waiting as well.
Varun, this is fine. Tom, this will be fun. Varun, this is your question, all right? No one else can answer this. Let's go to the next one.
Delhi was Chennai.
Right. Who opened the bowling along with Deepak Chahar for the Super Kings the last time we saw a game at Vizag?
Shardul Thakur.
Wow. Order brings chaos
Okay.
on the scorecard. 1-1. And finally, let's have a look at one for Mitch McClenaghan.
I'm happy to go last. Tom, you go, and I'll pick last. Okay. Don't embarrass me.
All right, let's have a look. Come on. I don't even need to give hints. It's become high stakes poker here.
Ishant Sharma.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Wow. In the blink of an eye. That is just brilliant. So, in fairness, there's been no help on who should go first. I don't have any tiebreakers on me. So, I am simply going to leave it to the three of you to play either rock,
There you go,
paper,
Tom.
scissors,
I'll need
or
to-
you
need a-
decide.
Need a bit of change of
Yesterday,
mojo.
yeah,
So
I went first yesterday, then Mitch went first today. Tom, I think it's yours.
every time you've gone first,
Okay,
you've lost
thank
as
you
well.
for the generous opportunity to go first. I appreciate that, fellow competitors. Mitchell Marsh.
Mitchell Marsh for Tom Moody. We'll
No,
go
there
this,
you go,
we'll go
round.
this
Go
way
round.
now. We'll follow the clock.
Mitch Marsh.
So, we're going batters. Let's go batters.
I would back Prithvi Shaw.
Prithvi Shaw. Mitch.
Ooh, well, I might as well take Rachin.
Okay. That's batters out of the way. Varun, bowlers.
Bowlers, I would go.
Would you like to see the teams again?
No, I'm seeing the
No, you
team.
just talked about Ishant Sharma.
I would say Mustafizur.
Mustafizur Rahman.
I'm going to go with Patirana.
Okay. Patirana for Mitch.
I'm going to go for Khalil.
Khalil Ahmed for Tom Moody.
Good pick. Good pick.
Okay, Mitch.
Oh, wild card. Oh, let's go. Wild card. I'm going to go with Rishabh Pant.
All right. Tom Moody.
My wild card is going to be Gaikwad.
Oof, I was just going to say that.
Sorry, mate. I apologise. You want me to withdraw?
Jeez, no, it's fine, it's fine.
Never withdraw.
My wild card is going to be Akshar Patel.
Oh, yeah. No, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like I got the worst team again. Shocking.
Oh, man. All right. So that's the impact zone done. Remember that, just to remind you, if you've not been following throughout, it's just the panel picks 3 players ahead of each game. And depending on how they fare in the game, as per ESPN Cricinfo's Smart Stats, we award them impact points. That's a much better way to see the impact of a player in the shortest format than conventional numbers. And they've gotten quite competitive, these 3. Right. Before I move to more predictions on CSK, let's quickly revisit the afternoon game, which I think it's fair to say turned out to be a comfortable win for the Gujarat Titans. We thought it'd get close. You thought it'll be a last ball finish. But why did it seem as easy as it was for the Titans? Mitch?
Oh, geez, the 2 left-handers really decided that they were going to take out Makande at the end. I think that was with 4 overs to go. 2 left-handers against a leg spinner. And it got them ahead of the game. It made the last 3 overs very easy. So that was the turning point for mine.
He had to do things differently, Pat Cummins, today. Different impact sub, different entry point for him as a bowler as well. What happened there in the chase from a Sunrisers point of view?
I think they got most of their decisions right. I wasn't convinced on Washington Sundar playing, to be honest with you. I know that you called it, but I wasn't convinced. What we need to respect is Gujarat's increasing reputation as a successful chasing side. Out of the last 20 chases, they've won 15. So one of the reasons they won is because they've got into a good habit of winning and understanding how to navigate a chase, and that's really important.
Well, David Miller in particular in the chases has been incredible.
Yeah.
I think his average now is probably over 50 chasing. So
Yeah, that's his job, and he does it well.
yeah, it's
It's
phenomenal.
interesting that Sunrisers chose to bat first today, and we saw the difficulty they had. That's the comment that you all made as well. If we look back at that game, did conditions play a part in who won that?
I would say they were like, at the break, they were definitely 10 runs short. It was down to poor application towards the end. They didn't give Abdul Samad enough strike. Mayank is under pressure now because he's got 3 games and he doesn't look in good form.
Mayank the batter.
Mayank the batter.
The bowler also.
Mayank the bowler also, yeah. I'm talking about Mayank Agarwal at the moment. So yeah, I mean, a start was key on this kind of wicket, which the Gujarat Titans got. Ridhiman Saha almost was at a 200 strike rate kind of innings. Gill batted well. Sai Sudarshan is that perfect foil for this kind of wicket, where he just comes in very steady, knocks it around, doesn't play anything high risk, plays the ball, and Miller does what Miller does best. He just finished it off. So, I mean, Gujarat Titans, like I said, well-oiled machine. They know exactly how to play, and hats off to them on their strategy because they played on the perfect wicket for Sunrisers.
Yeah, bringing in Noor Ahmed, exactly that point. Let's have a quick rapid-fire review of the game. 20 seconds to each of you. Let's start with you, Tom. Not saving Bhuvaneshwar for the death and giving Markande the 16th over. Was that the wrong call? 20 seconds.
Look, I think at that point the game was pretty much closed and they had to fit that extra over of spin in. So, you know, whether it was Mankande or someone else, it was the way the bowlers set up. The game was lost, I think, before that. So Sunrisers were 10 short in their total.
All right, Mitch McClenaghan, Noor Ahmed dismissing Travis Head or Rashid Khan getting Klassen. The bigger moment on the impact of the first innings?
Probably Rashid getting Klassen. Klassen had got himself into another good position to set up for his final push, which he does so well, and that was significant. Was surprised to see Klassen get out to him, who's been so successful. So Rashid getting Klassen was the biggest moment.
All right, Varun Aaron, speaking of the spin attacks for both teams, was the gulf in the spin attacks down to difference in quality or conditions? 20 seconds.
I would say quality because you can't really match the quality of a Rashid Khan. Nobody has been able to over the last how many years he's played. So it's definitely quality.
Okay, I'll stick with you, Varun, since you answered that in half the time. Why was Mohit Sharma so much more effective than the rest of the bowlers? 20 seconds.
See, first of all, he has 2 slow balls. He's got a back of the hand. He's got a slow bouncer, which he really he rolls his fingers around. His wide Yorkers are very, very potent. He nails them most of the time. And the biggest thing is that when he hits a length, which doesn't give you anything. Even his back of length balls are literally finishing like 6 inches top of the stump. He doesn't give you any pull shots, which is really difficult on a slow wicket.
Yes, when talking about fast bowlers, you like to go on talking.
Yeah.
Spinners finish in
He
10
bowled a wide in
seconds.
that 20 seconds. Had to redo it.
No, he caught his 10 seconds. I gave it to him extra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he yielded his time. Tom Moody, you can finish off like David Miller. Rate David Miller's finishing act and 20 seconds for you.
It was a classical Miller finish. You know, got himself set at the crease, identified the right bowler to get that big over to break the chase. Simple as that. They were, you know, in a position where it was, you know, they were in control of it, but that one over he identified against Mankande and took it down and made the game GTs.
All right, there you go. Wrap of the afternoon game. It's a happy Titans side. Shubman Gill will be relieved that he's picked up a couple of wins at home, which is still waiting to see the best of Shubman Gill, though. It's early days in the tournament. He'll take the win for now. Let's get a first innings prediction at Visakhapatnam. As Prithvi Shaw walks out, looks like David Warner and Ruturaj Gaikwad are already having a polite
We're not going to
chat.
go our impact points for the first game?
We'll get that at the end of the day.
Oh, we're going to have a big
You know
finish,
you
are
won,
we?
mate. You know you won.
It's been sent upstairs. I'm just going to have a look at it and make sure it's all right.
Oh, I just thought I'd get that in just
Because
to
he had
sort
Mohit
of-
Sharma. He's
Just
very
to
happy after
stir.
the first innings.
Yeah. Why don't we show you both games at the end so you can claim the double win that you...
No, it's fine.
Sure looking forward to.
Total. I'm going to go for 176.
You're on a hot streak today. You also predicted Shahbaz Ahmed will bowl the second over as he did. Would you like to give me an equally brilliant prediction?
You want an outrageous one, do you?
Go on.
Marsh is going to hit more than 4 sixes.
Okay, it's good. Very good. Mitch?
Ooh, I'm going to say first innings total, they're going to go 184. And in this innings, is it the game prediction or just this? Just the first innings?
Why don't you give yourself more options here? So you could go first innings and we'll revisit this at half
Okay,
time.
cool. So Rishabh Pant is going to hit 3 sixes in an over.
Ooh, very good. Varun Aaron.
180 total. And Ishant Sharma is getting Rachin Ravindra out.
Ah, see, we talked that up.
You've parked
Back
right
myself.
in behind my score, haven't you?
Yeah.
So wait,
Four
184, 180, and
176.
well, you're all within the margins. That's okay. Then we're not going to give any points for getting it nearly in that zone. We'll only give it for the exact score today. Right. Thank you very much. Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan, Varun Aaron. Plenty more from these fine gentlemen at the end of the Delhi Capitals innings. Big game for them. And the Super Kings, you could almost expect that they are favourites going into this one. Pick up the chat at the end of the first innings on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Download the mobile app if you haven't already. Plenty being written and said about the IPL, and it'll have you covered with the fastest live scores as well. Bless you, Varun Aaron. And that is where we call time. We'll see you at the end of the first innings.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.